Still think it's your job as my representative to represent me and all your constituents in your ward.
That's your prerogative.
But that's your job, is it not?
Yeah, it is. But also,
in good conscience,
sometimes you have to stand up and make an informed decision for the best of the overall community.
If you had gone back and said, as much as I hate to do this, I have to vote against this plan because all my constituents don't want it. I work for them. Now we have to come up with another plan. No matter what you had to do, come up with a different plan.
The only other plan would have been cut service.
If that's what it was, then that's what it is.
That was the right way to do it.
That's what you think. What about your constituents?
Right. That's what I do think.
But what about 99% of the people you work for?
Okay. I think that I'm up there to make the right decision.
But if they don't want it, how can you go up there and say, yes, I want it?
I got 9 phone calls.
From what? How many of your constituents were here tonight, would you say?
I have no
10?
idea. Probably
10.
Maybe 10, 15. I represent 6,000 people.
I appreciate your time.
Spoke with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that understood that we made cuts 15 years ago.
The problem with politics today is you gentlemen don't work for us. You tell us what's good for us.
Right.
That don't sound right. You're telling me that 99% of the people that you represent go to you and say, don't do it.
That isn't
don't
the
do
way
it.
It worked.
No,
99% of people
because you didn't have a meeting. If you had a meeting.
I spoke with a lot of people. A lot of people.
Okay, thank you for your time. I don't want to argue with you, and like I said, you've been a representative for a long time, and I hope you're a representative even longer. I just don't understand how 99% of the people in your ward could say that. I mean, if they were here tonight, would say no, obviously.
Well, I'm from that ward. I'm from that street.
That's all.
So that's 2 people out of 6,000.
Right. If you represent just that gentleman and me, and we say we don't want.
He's not representing us. He's representing himself.
You're telling me what's good for me, is what you're saying.
He's telling you what's good for us.
I'm telling you what I think was a right vote.
I think you're wrong. Like he knows you're wrong.
It's your right to think that I'm wrong.
Control the whole day.
I think that
shut up and let somebody talk, and then you can talk after. We've had about enough of you, all right?
Well, I'm sorry.
I think I made the right vote. I truly do. That if I got voted out of office, I could walk away with a clear conscience.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
And I got my opinion. I'm giving it.
My point is, I don't like it when people tell me what's good for me.
I understand.
Especially when that person, you don't work for me, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we vote for you.
Right.
You represent your constituents. That's your job.
I pay just like you.
I understand.
You know, I have to pay for the bags.
Right, but I'm not even talking about the bag. It's your job to report back to these gentlemen and the mayor, my district is up in arms. They don't want this. We're going to have to let this go for a year and come up with some other idea. If the mayor says we have to lay people off, well, that's too damn, it happens all over the country. I don't want that to happen.
We've gone through it.
I know you have. And unfortunately, it could happen again.
See, I don't believe this community can run with 2 fire stations or take apparatus out of service. I don't think we can take police officers off.
But maybe 99...
I don't think that we can afford to lay off 25, 30 school teachers.
Fine. That's your opinion.
That's exactly right.
But 99% of the people that represent you, that's not their opinion. Their opinion is, let us vote on this.
No, that's not your opinion.
No. All right.
That's not your opinion.
Are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me that? Are you trying to tell me that the people in my ward are for this?
No.
Okay, I rest my case.
But I also tell you this, that they probably wouldn't like the cuts that have to be made too.
That's not
so they wouldn't be for the cuts either.
Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
That's for sure.
But if 99% of the people say no, then your job is to go back and tell the mayor. All right, 70. How about 55%? A majority of your constituents, which I know there's a much more than a majority of your constituents that don't want this program. But yet you're going to go back. Your job is to go back and tell the mayor and your other fellow aldermen over there, I can't in good as much as I don't want to see firemen, I don't want firemen and police cut in my town, no I don't. But as much as I don't want this, we have to come up with another plan because my people don't want it and I represent them. I don't like people telling me what's good for me. And that's what I think you're doing.
That's
Because-
why I voted. I voted.
Well,
for it.
I'm sorry to hear that that's what you did. I am. And that's all I got to say, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Mike, can I address you, not to belabor the point?
Sure.
But when you talk about people making decisions about what's good for you, I mean, what do you think goes into, just say we didn't need the revenue this year, and we didn't have to have all this upheaval. What do you think we do with the $140 million we spend every year? I mean, that's the decision we make about whether it goes to schools or goes to firefighters or goes to DPW. I mean, it's why the process is. I understand your point that there should be a reflection of, you know, what your constituents feel, but I mean, I'm with Councilor Condon. I think we're here. I do the job full, no, not to tell you, to get it.
You passed it, so
Well, I know, but we spend $140 million every year.
If everybody went to this, if everybody told all you fellas up there what they wanted, which you already know what the people in this town want, they didn't want it. And every one of you guys went back and said, listen, we got to come up with something else. Because our political jobs, not that they are, but our political jobs could be, you know, in trouble because we have to do what the people want, not what we want.
I don't think, again, I don't want to belabor that point, I don't think they'd be concerned about the political fall. You know, I think your other point is legitimate. It should reflect the fact that nobody likes it and just say, okay, throw up our hands and suffer the alternatives.
No, not throw up your hands. I know something had to be done. But these gentlemen up there should have had meetings in their own wards, every single one of them. I don't care. They can have parades in parks for kids, which I think is a great idea on the 4th of July. Everybody comes and has a great time. But yet when there's a situation like this at hand, we don't have time for a meeting because I know exactly what they're I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. My alderman over there, he said it. Well, I know what they would have said. They wouldn't have wanted it.
All right, so we're doing these meetings, everybody gets feedback, we're doing these meetings after the fact. We admit that, all right?
Thank you for at least admitting that.
So look, it doesn't mean they can change their mind tomorrow about whether or not they think the program should be implemented, all right? They sat through 2 of these meetings, the other one had the same level of ire, the same amount of concern about trash all over the place. Nobody likes it, nobody wants to do it. We understand that. So it's not as though the thing has to stay in place forever. And you shouldn't feel, my point is, why do you feel that? You've had your input. You're making your point that you don't think anybody in your community wants it.
We needed our groups. We needed our aldermen to come to us as a group. Like, I don't know how many people do you represent, sir?
6,000.
No, my aldermen.
They all have 6,000.
So maybe we could
56,000 in the entire community.
We got them all in the park over there and said, how does everybody feel about paying $2 for a rubbish bag because we need revenue? You know what they would have said? We don't want it.
Okay.
And it's his job to go back and tell you people.
Well, and there's a difference of opinion about what his job is when he gets that kind of information.
So he makes the decision for me.
Oh, he makes, yes. That's why you're like that.
What I'm trying to say is, he just said that, I said, and I know for a fact, I don't want to go out and do a survey, but most of the people in this city don't want this. We all know that, right?
We understand that if we said, do you want us to take more money from you, you would probably say no. If we get into a big, prolonged community debate about what the ramifications are for not having the revenue, I don't know that everybody would have the same feeling. If the outcome, and ultimately it would be an outcome, that this school would close, if you have kids or some other people have kids here, you might feel differently.
I understand.
You know, if the outcome is that the West Side Fire Station has to go out of service, then people might say, well, I'm concerned about that. Some people might think the library is the most important thing to fund. We're already taking up the issue of closing a nursing home in the community for our inability to be able to sustain it. That's a very tough decision. Some people might feel like that's the first thing to do. So you would never get 100% buy-in or 50% buy-in on what to cut, where to take it from. Is it the schools? Is it the charter schools? Somebody said don't give them any money. Is it the fire department? Is it the police department? So again, the wrap-up I'm trying to get to is, we take it all into account.
I still think they should have had separate meetings.
I
think they
understand that point. I understand that
And you know
point.
something else? I'm going to say it. I didn't want to say it, but I have to say it before I leave tonight. I'm going to stay here because I want to hear these other people. I've been here since the meeting started. What bothers me the most is, this is crap. This thing's going to stay. We all know it's going to stay. This is not going to change. I'll come up here next year, the year after, and the year after, and he'll still be the alderman because most people don't care.